A Canada College Professor Job Guide. Chapter 1. General Canadian College Job Guide. Major Canadian Higher Education Jobs. universityaffairs.ca/careers. campusaccess.com. jobsearch.educationcanada.com. accc.ca, Association of Canadian Community Colleges. aucc.ca, Association of Universities and Colleges of Canada. CEA-ACE.ca, Canadian Education Association. CAUT.ca, Association of University Teachers. Canadian Academic Jobs / Canadian Higher Education Jobs / Canadian Professor Jobs. academiccareers.com, Academic Careers Online. academiccareers-canada.com, Academic Careers Online. academicacareers.com, Academica Careers. canadianiversities/programs/history-careers.html/careers.canadianiversities.net. unijobs.ca, unijobs.ca. auraweb.au.ca/pls/ua/ua_re, University Affairs. chroniclevitae.com/document_library/syllabi, job offers, teaching syllabi, etc. insidehired.com, job listings. h-net.org/jobs/home.php, humanities.net, job guide. jobs.phds.org/academic/in-canada ? Location =Canada&country =39. academics-in-china.com/jobs. academicwork.ca. accc.ca, Association of Canadian Community Colleges. accc.ca, Association of Canadian Community Colleges. accc.ca/xp/index.php/en/members/member institutions, community colleges. acute.ca/joblist.html. acute.ca/joblist.html, acute job list. applytoeducation.com, elementary/secondary, apply to teach. artsandsciences.virginia.edu/grad school career. artsci-concordia.ca/soca/nth/csa/jobs.htm, Canadian Sociology and Anthropology Association. aucc.ca. aucc.ca, Association of Universities and Colleges of Canada. aucc.ca, Association of Universities and Colleges of Canada. aucc.ca/index_e.html, Association of Universities and Colleges of Canada. campusaccess.com. canada.careers.org. canadavacancy.com/tag/professor. canadian-universities.net. canadian-universities.net/employment. canadian-universities.net/employment/academic. canadian-universities.net/employment/academic/index.html. canadian-universities.net/employment/student, university and college student jobs in Canada. cap.ca. career.edu. career-canada.com. careerjet.ca. careerjet.ca/assistant-professor-jobs.html. careeroverview.com/education-associations.html. careers.education.wisc.edu/hired/hire_ed_links.cfm. careers.org. careers.utoronto.ca/maphd/academicinterviews.aspx. careers360.com. cauc.ca/human-resources/jobs Human Resources Job Opportunities Canadian University College, Lacombe, epub. caut.ca, Association of University Teachers. caut.ca, Canadian Association of University Teachers. caut.ca, Canadian Association of University Teachers. CEA-ACE.ca, Canadian Education Association. Christian Higher Education Canada.memberlodge.com. Chronicle.com. chroniclecareers.com. concordia.ca/az index. csn-rec.ca/job-postings, Canadian Studies Network. edujobscanada.com. edujobscanada.com/academic-directory. hiredjobs.com. hiredjobs.com, Hired Jobs, Jobs in Higher Education. hiredjobs.com/state, elementary/secondary, hiredjobs.com. insidehired.com. jobboardtoronto.com/teaching_jobs_toronto.htm, university and college jobs. joboom.com/search/jobs/canada/province/region/social-services-education/college-professor. job-link.canada_universities.html. jobprofiles.org. jobrapido-ca.com. jobsearch.educationcanada.com. jobsearch.educationcanada.com, elementary/secondary, Education Canada. jobsineducation.com, elementary/secondary, Jobs in Education. math.mcgill.ca/positions. mcgill.ca/mateo/positions. mountroyal.ca/hr/postings/index.php. mymajors.com/careers-and-jobs/philosophy-professor. niu.edu/careers-services/weblink/s/interests/hiredjobs.html. ontario.ca/education-and-training/search-private-career-college-Ontario, private career colleges in Ontario, private schools. oraweb.aucc.ca/pls/ua/ua_re, academic jobs in Canada. ouac.on.ca/unilinks, universities, ontario.ca. Search for a private career college in Ontario. ourkids.net/ontario-private-schools.php, private schools. quillendequire.com/job_board/job-post.cfm. tedjob.com, Higher Education Job Marketplace. theadventurous-writer.com/working/professor-job-tips-from-a-college-professor. unijobs.ca, the Canada's University Jobs. universities.net. universityaffairs.ca. universityaffairs.ca/academic-careers-the-social-sciences.aspx. universityaffairs.ca/careers, University Affairs, for higher ed jobs in Canada. universityaffairs.ca/careers.aspx. universityaffairs.ca/careers.aspx, University Affairs, Careers. universityaffairs.ca/careers. universityjobs.com. universityjobs.com. universityjobs.com/college/canada-bc.html. universityjobs.com/college/canada-list.html. edujobscanada.com. visabureau.com/canada/university-professor-jobs-canada.aspx. visabureau.com/canada/university-professor-jobs-canada.aspx. working.com. workopolis.com/emplois-education. yourq.ca/careers/ma_phd/academic_job searchers.html. Association of Canadian Community Colleges. 1223 Michael St. North. Suite 200 Ottawa, on K1J72. Canada. accc.ca. Canadian Association of University Teachers. 2705 Queensview Drive. Ottawa, on K2B8K2. Canada. caut.ca. Association of Universities and Colleges of Canada. 350 Albert St. Suite 600. Ottawa ONK1R1B1. Canada. aucc.ca. Canadian Postdocs Jobs. sbla.ulaval.ca, Postdocs postings.spo.berkeley.edu/fund/hpostdoc.html, Berkeley, postdoc listings, Canadian Association of Postdoctoral Scholars CANADIAN-universities.net/post-graduation/index.html, CANADIAN-universities.net, Postgrads Job Opportunities, Careers for Students of History. Historians.org/jobs-and-professional-resources/careers-for-students-of-history, Guide by the American Historical Association, Education Index, List of undergraduate and graduate programs available in the u.s.graduate-schools.phds.org/education-index, graduate-schools.phds.org/education-index, Fonds de Recherche Society. fqrc.gov.qc.ca/fr/acul.php, FRSC, Postdocs, in French only, sici.org/programs/details/post-doctoral-fellowship, postdocs. mitacs.math.ca/accelerate-internships.jobs.phds.org. sshRC-CRSH.gc.ca/funding-financement/programs-fellowships/postdoctoral-fellowships/eng.aspx, SSHRC, Universidad Andina Bolivar, academicjobs.wikia.com. Canadian History Jobs. Canadian Historical Association. CHA-SHC.ca. CHA-SHC.ca/English/links/history-departments.html, history-departments.ca/English/links/job-opportunities.html, job-opportunities.ca/English/links/links.html, useful-links.ca/English/links/job-opportunities.html, job opportunities. Historians.org/jabads, American Historical Association, online job listings.ncph.org/cms/careers-training/jobs, public history. h-net.org/jobs/home.php, humanities.net, jobguide.chin.gc.ca, Canadian Heritage Information Network.historians.org/jobs-and-professional-resources/careers-for-students-of-history, Guide by the American Historical Association, Education Index, List of undergraduate and graduate programs available in the U.S. jobs.phds.org/history-jobs, phds.org, Postdocs in History listings, Postdoctoral Fellowships. Chapter 2. A Canadian College University Job Guide. Canadian Higher Education Jobs. universityaffairs.ca/careers. campusaccess.com. jobsearch.educationcanada.com. accc.ca, Association of Canadian Community Colleges. aucc.ca, Association of Universities and Colleges of Canada. CEA-ACE.ca, Canadian Education Association. CAUT.ca, Association of University Teachers. Canadian Teacher Education Job Websites 1. ACADEMIC360.com. academiccareers.com, academic careers online. academicinvest.com, Academic Invest. academicwork.ca, Canadian Association of University Teachers, CAUT. ACCC.ca, Association of Canadian Community Colleges, ACC. admin.acadia.ca/council/careers/edu_teach.html. aeceo.ca, Early Childhood Educators. applytoeducation.com. applytoeducation.com, elementary/secondary, apply to teach. applytoteach.ca. attention.org, Teach Network Canada's one-stop employment recruitment system for teachers. aucc.ca, AUC Association of Universities and Colleges of Canada lists employment opportunities for those interested in teaching at the college and university level. bcteacherregulation.ca, BC Ministry of Education Teacher Regulation Branch. bctf.ca, British Columbia Teachers Federation. ca.indeed.com. campusaccess.com/campus_web/educ/e4grad_techa_r.htm. canadianresearch.org, canadianresearchcareerdue.eu. canadianteachermagazine.com, Canadian Teacher Magazine, CTM. cantach.ca. cantach.net, Can Teach. career.edu. career.edu, cat equals 94. casa-acas.ca, Canadian Association of School Administrators. caut.ca, Association of University Teachers. cbie.ca, Canadian Bureau for International Education. ccacc.ca, Canadian Counselling Association. ccl-ca/ccl/about/ccl/knowledge centers/adult learning/index.html, adult learning knowledge. ccv-cvc.ca/index researcher-eng.frm, Canadian Common CV resource when applying to federal, provincial, and not-for-profit research funding organizations. cdnsba.org, Canadian School Boards Association. cea-ace.ca, Canadian Education Association. cf.ca, Teaching Abroad Program Centre. cfee.org, Canadian Foundation for Economic Education. Chronicle.com, Chronicle of Higher Education, American. cla.ca, Canadian Library Association. ClassroomCanada.com, Teaching in London. cpf.ca, Learn to be a French as a second language teacher. cstd.ca, Canadian Society for Training and ctf.ca/about/affiliates.html, Canadian Teachers Federation. ctf-fce.ca, Canadian Teachers Federation, CTF. ctf-fce.ca, Canadian Teachers Federation, Project Overseas. ctf-fce.ca, Canadian Teachers Federation. Development, CSTD. eaea.org, European Association for Education of Adults. edu.gov/mb.ca/ks4/profcert/teachexchange, Teacher Exchange. education.uottawa.ca/en/faculty/positions. educationcanada.com, Education Canada, teaching jobs in Ontario, mostly private schools. edujobs.ca. edujobscanada.com. eluda.ca. e-referencedesk.com/education/schools-in-Canada. etfo.on.ca, Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario. exchanges.gc.ca, Teacher Exchange. georgebrown.ca, College, Toronto, Teaching Department. gov.pe.ca, Teacher Exchange. hiredjobs.com, Higher Ed Jobs. hiredjobs.com/state, elementary/secondary, hiredjobs.com. icg.uk.org/c2/uploads/canada.pdf. impactteachers.com, Canadian teachers wanted in Britain. ewantabetterjobnow.com, Education. jobs.hrsb.ns.ca, Halifax School Board. jobsearch.educationcanada.com. jobsearch.educationcanada.com, elementary/secondary, Education Canada. jobs-edu.ca. jobsineducation.com, elementary/secondary, Jobs in Education. mbteach.org, Manitoba. meq.gov.qc.ca, Teaching Abroad Program. Network. oct.ca, Ontario College of Teachers. oct.ca/becoming-a-teacher/jobs-in-education, Ontario College of Teachers, Jobs. onlinegraduateprograms.com. phdjobs.com. Positions available. post-docs.com, postdoc jobs. reach-to-teach-recruiting.com, reach-to-teach-teachaway.com. resource.education-canada.com/salaries.htmleics.ab.ca, Elk Island Catholic Schools Teaching. sask.govsk.ca/student-records/teach exchange. schoolcnews.canoe.ca. simplyhired.ca. stf.sk.ca, Saskatchewan Teachers Federation. tdsb.on.ca, Toronto District School Board Jobs. teacherlibrarian.com. teachers.ab.ca. teachingjobs.com. teaching-jobs.freeadsincanada.com. teachinontario.ca. uc411.com/get-certified.asp. universityaffairs.ca, University Affairs. universityaffairs.ca, University Affairs Education-Canada.com. versatilephd.com. 6fprogram.com, 877-798-4115, Canadians Teach School in the U.S. Canadian Teacher Education Job Websites 2. Canadian Education Association. 317 Adelaide St. W, Suite 300. Toronto, on M5V1P9. Canada. CEA-ACE.ca. Canadian Teachers Federation. 2490 Don Reed Drive. Ottawa, on K1H1E1. Canada. CTF-FCE.ca. Canadian Vocational Journal. POB 3435, STA. D. Ottawa, on KIP 6L4. 613-838-6012. Fax, 613-838-6012. Educational Digest. 11966 Woodbine Avenue. Gormley, on L0H IGO. 905-887-5048. Fax, 905-887-0764. Professionally Speaking. 121 Bloor Street East. 6th floor. Toronto, on M4W3M5. 416-961-8800. Fax, 416-961-8822. Quebec Home and School News. 3285 Cavendish Boulevard. Number 60. Montreal, QCH4B2L9. 514-481-5619. Fax, 514-481-5610. Chapter 3. Provincial Offices of Education. Provincial Offices of Education. Alberta. Alberta Education. West Tower, Devonian Building. 11160 Jasper Avenue, Edmonton, UB T5KOL2. 780-427-7219. Fax, 780-427-0591. ednet.edc.gov.ab.ca. aecd.gov.ab.ca. British Columbia. Ministry of Education. POB 9156, STA. PROV. Government. Victoria, BC V8W9H2. 250-387-4611. Fax, 250-387-3200. bced.bc.ca. aett.gov.bc.ca, Advanced Education. Manitoba. Department of Education and Training. Legislative Building. 450 Broadway. Winnipeg, MBR3C0V8. 204-945-2211. Fax, 204-945-8692. gov.mb.ca/educate. New Brunswick. Department of Education. POB 6000. Fredericton, NBE3B5H1. 506-453-3678. Fax, 506-453-3325. gov.nb.ca/education. Newfoundland. Department of Education. 3rd FL. Confederation Building. West Block. POB 8700. St. John's, NFA 1B4J6. 709-729-5097. Fax, 709-729-5896. gov.nl.ca/edu. Nova Scotia. Department of Education and Culture. POB 578. Halifax, NSB 3J2S9. 902-424-5168. Fax 902-424-0511. ednet.ns.ca. Ontario. Ministry of Education. 22nd FL, Moat Block. 900 Bay St. Toronto, on M7A1L2. 800-387-5514. 416-325-2929. Fax, 416-325-2934. edu.gov.on.ca. Pay. Department of Education. 2nd FL. Sullivan Building. 16 Fitzroy St. POB 2000. Charlottetown, PECIA 7 and 8. 902-368-4600. Fax, 902-368-4663. gov.pe.ca/educ. Quebec. Minister of Education. 1035 Rue de la Chevrotière. 280 Etage. Quebec City, QCG1R5A5. 418-643-7095. Fax, 418-646-6561. meq.gov.qc.ca. Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan Education. 2220 College Avenue. Regina, SKS4P3V7. 306-787-6030. Fax, 306-787-7392. sask.gov.sk.ca. saskschools.ca. NWT. Department of Education, Culture and Employment. NWT Government. POB 1320. 4501 50th Avenue. Yellowknife, NTX1A2L9. 867-920-6240. Fax, 867-873-0456. sixic.learnnet.nt.ca. Nunavut. Department of Education. POG 2410. Government of Nunavut. Building 1088E. Iqaluit, Nunavut Koa Oho. 867-975-5000. Fax, 867-975-5095. Nunavut.com/education. Yukon. Department of Education. POG 2703. Whitehorse, YKY1A2C6. 867-667-5141. Fax, 867-393-6339. gov.yk.ca/departments/education.